Alice Springs. A faraway town in the middle of Australia, it holds a dark secret. 29-year-old Angie Lee Fuller, a loving mom of two, disappeared, gone. The red dirt in the huge Outback, usually so beautiful, now reminds everyone of Angie. January 2023. A nightmare began for her family. Angie's laugh, once so familiar, is now just silence. The last time anyone saw Angie was January 9th, 2023. It was a day like any other, but for Angie, it marked the beginning of a mystery that would baffle everyone who knew her. She had been on a road trip, exploring the vast landscapes of Australia, seeking adventure and new experiences. Little did anyone know, this would be her last known location. Security cameras at a lonely truck stop north of Alice Springs saw her. The footage captured her arriving at the truck stop, looking weary but determined. She was seen talking to a man, later identified as Jake Jefferson Peters. They seemed to be in deep conversation, perhaps discussing their next destination or simply sharing stories from the road. It was 6:40 p.m. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the desolate landscape. The truck stop was quiet, with only a few other travelers passing through. Angie and Jake stood out, their interaction caught on the grainy security footage. A man, Jake Jefferson Peters, was with her. They walked together, seemingly comfortable in each other's company. Jake was a drifter, known to frequent truck stops and remote locations. His presence with Angie raised many questions, especially when she was reported missing. The blurry video showed a little bit of Angie's last hours. It captured moments of her life that would become crucial in the investigation. The footage was not clear, but it was enough to piece together a rough timeline of her final movements, but not much. The video left more questions than answers. Investigators pored over the footage, trying to decipher every detail, every shadow, every movement. Each frame was analyzed, but the mystery only deepened. Each question, a painful piece of the puzzle. Where is Angie? What happened after the camera stopped recording? The search for answers continues, with every clue bringing a mix of hope and despair. The puzzle remains incomplete, with Angie's fate still unknown. The Tanami Road. A dangerous highway cutting through the Outback, this road became important in Angie's case. Early morning, January 10th. Just hours after Angie was last seen, something happened on that road. Jake Peters, the man with Angie, said they were run off the road and shot at. He said they left Angie's dark red Toyota Corolla and ran into the bush. Peters' story sounded scary, but investigators didn't believe him. What he did after made them even more suspicious. He didn't tell anyone about the attack. He didn't tell anyone Angie was missing. He ran. Hundreds of miles away in Queensland, he showed up. Trying to disappear didn't work. He was caught and put in jail, not for Angie's case, for a knife attack. Peters' arrest shocked everyone. The community was in disbelief, and whispers of doubt spread like wildfire. People who knew Peters couldn't reconcile the man they thought they knew with the accusations against him. He was still a suspect in Angie's disappearance, but he said he didn't do it. In court, Peters maintained his innocence, his voice steady, but his eyes betraying a hint of desperation. His defense team argued that there was no concrete evidence linking him to the crime. The police didn't believe him. They had their reasons, and the evidence, though circumstantial, painted a grim picture. Detective Sergeant Ashley Dudson, the lead investigator, was particularly convinced of Peters' guilt. He had spent countless hours piecing together the timeline and believed he had a solid case. Detective Sergeant Ashley Dudson, the lead investigator, thought Angie was probably murdered within 2 days of the Tanami Road incident. He had meticulously analyzed the crime scene and the surrounding areas, hoping to find any clue that could lead to Angie's whereabouts or her fate. But Angie's dad had a different idea. He couldn't accept the notion that his daughter was gone. He clung to the hope that she might still be alive, somewhere out there, waiting to be found. He thought his daughter might have been killed before anything happened on the Tanami Road. He believed there were other factors at play, something the police might have overlooked. His determination to uncover the truth was unwavering, and he vowed to leave no stone unturned in his quest for answers. The community was divided. Some sided with the police, convinced that Peters was guilty, while others supported Angie's father, believing in his theory and hoping for a different outcome. The case had become a tangled web of whispers and doubts, with everyone searching for the truth in their own way. Finding Angie, or any clue, became a race against time. The Outback is huge and harsh. Search and rescue teams looked everywhere. Volunteers helped. They looked and looked, but they couldn't find Angie. Her phone stayed silent. Her car keys? Gone. Angie's dad's pain was even worse because of something else. He had just started talking to Angie again after a long time. Christmas 2022, just weeks before she disappeared, they were together in Darwin. They were happy, making new memories. Now, those memories are filled with sadness. Even though time passed and there were no answers, people didn't give up on Angie. Her case is like so many others in Australia, people who just vanish. The Australian Federal Police started a campaign called Always Searching in 2024 to remember Angie and others, to remind everyone that behind every missing person poster, there is a family who misses them terribly. There is a $250,000 reward for information about Angie Lee Fuller, a young woman who has been missing for several months. Her family is desperate for answers and is offering this substantial reward in the hope that someone somewhere knows something that can help bring her home. It's a lot of money, and it could be yours if you have any information that leads to finding Angie. This reward is not just a number. It represents the hope and determination of a family longing to be reunited with their loved one, a sign of hope for her family. Even a tiny detail could be important. Sometimes, the smallest piece of information can be the key to solving a mystery. If you remember seeing something unusual, or someone acting suspiciously around the time Angie disappeared, please come forward. If you helped and you're scared, you don't have to worry. The authorities understand that coming forward can be daunting, but they are here to support you. Your safety and anonymity are their top priorities. You can talk to the police and they won't arrest you. They are more interested in finding Angie and bringing her home than in punishing anyone who might have been involved unintentionally. Your information could be the breakthrough they need. If you know anything, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, please call Crime Stoppers. Help Angie's family. They have been living in uncertainty and fear, and your call could bring them the peace they desperately need. Help find justice for Angie Lee Fuller. Her family and friends are counting on the kindness and courage of strangers to help solve this case. Every piece of information is valuable, and your call could make all the difference. Help find justice for Angie Lee Fuller. Join the community in their efforts to bring her home and ensure that justice is served. Together we can make a difference.